Tech. This video is continuation of the last video because in the last video we discussed the questions, the simplification questions asked in the last year IBPS RRB Office Assistant Prelims exam. So in this video we are going to discuss the questions based on quadratic equation inequalities, that is quadratic equation based inequalities. There were 6 questions they have been asked in the last year's IBPS RRB Office Assistant Prelims exam. So we can discuss those questions in this video. Shall we start? Yes. So here we are going to discuss the questions on quadratic equation based inequalities. There were 6 questions they have asked in the last year related to this topic, and if you don't know the concept of this topic, I have done a detailed video on that and I will give you the link in the description box. So if you don't know the concept, go through that video and then solve these questions. Okay. So here 2 equations in the question, 2 equations 1 and 2 will be given below, and in each question you have to solve those 2 equations and give answer. A, option A, if x is less than y. Option B, if x is greater than y. Option C, if x is less than or equal to y. Option D, if x is greater than or equal to y. And option E, if x is equal to y or no relation can be established. So we can go to the very first question. Guys, this is the easiest scoring section after simplification or approximation. There will be 5 to 6 questions from this section itself. So you already got 10 to 12 marks in your hand. Then again 5 to 6 marks from this topic. Okay. So this is the first question. The 2 equations are given below. That is given here. X square minus 17 x plus 72 equal to 0 and y square minus 17 y plus 70 equal to 0. So you have to solve for x and y. How? First we can solve for x, right? So x square minus 17 x plus 72. So when you multiply, you have to get this answer 72, and when you add or subtract, you have to get this 70 by using 2 numbers. Suppose 9 into 8 we know it is 72. So when we multiply, we get the constant term, right? And how we will get minus 17? When we do minus 9 minus 8, we will get minus 17, right? And here minus 9 into minus 8, it is plus 72. We know minus minus, it is plus. Understood? So in the constant term, when we multiply, we have to get the constant term and we have to get the middle term. Either we add 2 numbers or either we subtract 2 numbers. Understood? So I have done a detailed video on this topic regarding the concept of this quadratic equation based inequalities. Go through that video for more. Okay. Now we can solve, right? So here the numbers are minus 9 and minus 8, right? So the value of x becomes plus 9 and plus 8. Why? Here we got minus 9 and 8. So how we can write that equation? X square minus 9x minus 8x plus 72 is equal to 0, right? And here taking x as common term. So x minus 9 taking minus and 8 minus 8 as common. So we will get x minus 9 because 9 8s are 72, right? Equal to 0. So how we can write this? X minus 9 into x minus 8 is equal to 0. From here we will get x is equal to 9 and x is equal to 8. So directly we can write when we get 2 numbers minus 9 and minus 8, take the opposite sign of those numbers. So take plus 9 and plus 8. So directly we get the answer without doing all this. Actually this number divided by x square term is there. But x square term here it is 1. Here y square term it is 1. So by x square term it is 1, 9 by 1, 8 by x square term it is 1, which is 9 and 8 itself. So we can directly write x values as 9 and 8. Okay. Now going to the second equation, that is y square minus 17y plus 70 equal to 0, right? This equation. Okay. And we know that 10 into 7 it is 70, right? 10 into 7 it is 70. And when we subtract minus 10 and minus 7, or when we add minus 10 plus minus 7, which can be written as minus 10 minus 7, right, which is equal to minus 70. So here also the numbers should possess negative sign. So because here the numbers we have written as minus and minus, so here also it should be minus and minus, but the answer is same, minus minus get plus, right? So here when we do minus 10 into minus 7, we will get plus 70, which is the constant term. And when we do minus 10 minus 7, which is equal to minus 17, which is the middle term. So the numbers are minus 10 and minus 7, but we have to take the opposite signs of that, right? So we will get the numbers as 7 and 10, right? And here divided by y square term it is 1, right? So 7 by 1 and 10 by 1, which is itself 7 and 10, right? And did you got the concept how you got plus 7 and plus 10? We can do the simplification, right? See, y square minus 17y, it can be written as minus 10y minus 7y, right? Plus 70 equal to 0. Taking y as common, y minus 10. Again taking minus 7 as common, y minus 10, right? Equal to 0. Here we can write y minus 10 into y minus 7 is equal to 0. From here we will get the values y is equal to going to the other side. Y is equal to plus 10 and y is equal to plus 7. That's why we have written plus sign here, plus 7 and plus 10, right? So we got the values of x and y. X value is 9 and 8 and y value it is 7 and 10. Y value we got as 7 and 10 and x we got 9 and 8, right? Now we can compare these two values. First we can compare 9 with 7 and 10. When we compare 9 and 7, 9 is greater, right? And when we compare 9 and 10, 10 is greater. So in this case, when we compare 9 and 7, x is greater. But when we compare 9 and 10, this y is greater. That means which option? Option E. That is, if x is equal to y, no relation can be established, because in one case x is greater and in the other case y is greater. So we can't say any relationship between them. So option E is the answer. Got it? Now go to the second question, right? Here the equations are x square minus x minus 42 equal to 0 and y square plus y minus 30 equal to 0, right? So taking the first equation, that is solving for x, right? So x square minus x minus 42 is equal to 0, which can be written as, here the constant term is 42 and the middle term it should be minus 1 and the constant term it should be minus 42, right? So how we can write? When we do minus 7 into 6, it is minus 42, right? Because when minus and plus comes, it is minus, right? And when plus and plus, it is plus, and when plus and minus, it is minus. When 2 minus comes, it is plus. You have to make sure this concept, okay? This is equal to, equal to, equal to, equal to, okay? And here, when we do minus 7 into plus 6, it is minus 42, because minus and plus, it is minus, right? And here, when we do minus 7 plus 6, it is minus 1, that is the middle term. Understood? Because when 1 minus and when 1 plus comes, it is minus. From this table, we know. You have to by heart this. I know, I'm sure you know this one, right? This concept of plus and minus. Now, understood this one? When we do multiplication, we will get minus 42, which is the constant term. And when we do minus 7 and plus 6, which is equal to minus 1, and that is the middle term. Understood? So the numbers are, which are the numbers? Two numbers. The numbers are minus 7 and 6, right? Minus 7 and plus 6, but we have to take the opposite signs of these numbers. Minus 7 opposite is plus 7 and the plus 6 opposite is minus 6, right? So the numbers are plus 7 and minus 6. So x values are plus 7 and minus 6 divided by x square term. Divided by x square term, it is 1. So 7 and minus 6 itself. Understood? Got the concept of getting x? So the values of x are once again 7 and minus x. Now we can solve for y. The second equation, it is y square plus y minus 30 equal to 0, right? Here the constant term is minus 30 and the middle term is plus 1, right? So which are the numbers? 6 and 5, because minus 6 into plus 5, sorry, we can do 6 into minus 5. Why? I will show you. 6 into minus 5, it is minus 30. That is the constant term, minus 30. And when we do 6 minus 5, we will get 1. That is plus 1. The middle term is plus 1. But when we do minus 6 and 5, it will become minus 1. But the middle term is plus 1. So in order to get the middle term as plus 1, we take minus on the number 5. Upon 5. Understood? So when we do 6 and minus 5, when we multiply 6 and minus 5, we will get minus 30, which is the constant term. And when we subtract 6 and minus 5, that is 6 minus 6 and 5, that means 6 minus 5, which is equal to plus 1, and that is the middle term. Understood? So now we can solve. So the numbers are 6 and minus 5. We got the numbers are 6 and minus 5. Taking opposite signs of these numbers, plus 6 becomes minus 6 and minus 5 becomes plus 5. So the required numbers for y are plus 5 and minus 6, and divided by y square term it is 1. No number is there. So simply y square means it is 1 into y square, that is 1. So by 1 by 1. So the y value is 5 and minus 6. Understood? 5 and minus 6. Here we got 7 and minus 6, and y value we got 5 and minus 6. Now we can compare these x and y values. So first we can compare 7 with 5 and minus 6, right? So when we compare 7 and 5, x is greater. Understood? X is greater. When we compare 7 and minus 6, plus 7 is greater. That is, x is itself is greater. Now when we compare minus 6 and plus 5 is greater, right? Because it is not plus 6, it is minus 6, and this is plus 5. So which one is greater, minus 6 and plus 5? Plus 5 is greater. That means when we compare 7 and 5, x is greater. When we compare 7 and minus 6, x is greater. But on the other hand, when we compare these two numbers, minus 6 and 5, plus 5 is greater. That means y term is greater. So on one hand, this x is greater, and on the other hand, y is greater. That means there is no relationship can be established. So which option? Option E. This question is simple, right? In the first two questions, we got option E as the answer. That means no relationship can be established. We can look into the third question, whether its answer is also option E or not, right? So third question, it is the equations are 2x square minus 7x plus 3 equal to 0 and y square minus 7y plus 12 equal to 0. Now we can solve for x, right? So the equation is 2x square minus 7x plus 3 is equal to 0. Friends, remember here the x square term is not 1, it is 2. Remember, okay? Because in the final answer we have to divide the answers by 2, right? So don't forget the x square term is 2. Now when we multiply 3 and x square term, that is 3 into 2, it is equal to 6. So when we multiply two numbers, the answer should be 6, and when we add two numbers, minus 7 should be when we add or subtract two numbers, minus 7 should be the answer. So which are the numbers? 6 and 1. Why? Because when we do 6 into 1, it is 6. That is this answer. How we got this answer? Multiplying 3 into x square term. In the earlier cases, the x square term was 1. So we just consider the constant term only. But here in this case, x square term is there. So we multiply these two numbers and the number is 6. So we look for that number. Okay. So when we multiply any two numbers, the answer should be plus 6. And when we add or subtract two numbers, the answer should be minus 7. So which are the numbers? 6 and 1. Because why? 6 into 1 we will get 6. But when we do minus 6 and minus 1, we will get the middle term. So we have to make sure that these numbers also contain the negative sign. Answer is same because minus and minus it is plus. So minus 6 into minus 1 we will get plus 6, and when we do minus 6 minus 1 it is minus 7, and this minus 7 is the middle term. Understood? So which are the numbers? Minus 6 and minus 1. We got the numbers as minus 6 and minus 1, but we have to take the opposite signs of these numbers. The opposite sign of minus 6 is plus 6, and the opposite sign of minus 1 it is plus 1. So the required numbers are 6 and 1, but friends, we have to divide these numbers with x square term, and the x square term is 2. So we got the numbers of 6 and 1, so divided by 2, divided by 2. So which are the answers for x? X is equal to 6 by 2, it is 3, and 1 by 2 it is 0.5. Simple. Now we can solve for y, right? We got x value. It is so simple. You can score easily 5 to 6 marks from this section. So never skip this section, okay? The questions will be easy, especially for IBPS RRB office assistant and clerical exams. Okay, so we got the value x as 3 and 0.5. Okay. Now we can solve for y. The equation is y square minus 7y plus 12 equal to 0. So when we multiply y square term, here it is 1. So we have to consider this term only because 1 into 12 itself is 12. So when we multiply any two numbers, we we should get 12. And when we add or subtract any two numbers, those two numbers, we have to get minus 7. So which are the numbers? 4 and 3, right? Yes. Why? Because when we do minus 4 minus 3, it is minus 7, right? When we do minus 4 and minus 3, it is minus 7, and that is the middle term. And when we do minus 4 into minus 3, minus minus it is plus, so plus 12. And this plus 12 is the constant term. See, understood how we got the numbers minus 7 and plus 12? Understood? So when we do minus 4 and minus 3, we will get minus 7, and when we multiply minus 4 and minus 3, we will get plus 12. So the numbers are minus 4 and minus 3. So we got the numbers of minus 4 and minus 3. What we have to do? Take the opposite signs. Minus 4 it is plus 4 and minus 3 it is plus 3. So the required numbers for y is 4 and 3. Divide it with y square term. But here y square term it is 1. So by 1 the numbers itself, that is 4 and 3. Got it? So we got the value for y as well. Right? So the numbers for y is 4 and 3. Y is equal to 3 and 4. Now we can compare these two equations, right? When we compare 3 and 3, this 3 with the y values, that is when we compare 3 and 3, x is equal to y, right? When we compare 3 and 4, x is less than y, that is 4 is greater, that means y is greater. And now next we have to consider 0.5 and compare it with these two values. So first we compare 3 with 3 and 4 y values. Next we have to compare 0.5 with 3 and 4. When we compare 0.5 and 3, which number is greater? 3. That is y is greater. X is less than y. And when we compare 0.5 and plus 4, which number is greater? 4 is greater. That means y is greater, or x is less than y. So in all these cases, we got the answer as x is less than, and in this case equal to. So x is either less than or equal to y. So which option? Option C. So friends, we can go to the fourth question. The equations are x square minus 9x plus 20 equal to 0 and y square minus 15y plus 54 equal to 0. So solving for x. And remember here x square term is 1, y square term is also 1. So we have to concentrate on the constant term in both the cases. Okay. So here for x square minus 9x plus 20 equal to 0. So we have to consider those two numbers in such a way that when we multiply those two numbers, we have to get the answer as 20. Why? Because 1 into 20 it is 20, right? And when we add or subtract those two numbers, you have to get the middle term, that is minus 9 as the answer. So which are the numbers? Which are the numbers? Yes, 5 and 4. Why? Because when we do minus 5, minus 4, we will get minus 9, and that is the middle term. And when we do minus 5 into minus 4, we will get plus 20, because minus minus it is plus, and this plus 20 is the constant term, right? So the numbers are minus 5 and minus 4, understood? The numbers we got as minus 5 and minus 4. So taking opposite signs, minus 5 it becomes plus 5, and minus 4 it becomes plus 4. So the required numbers are 5 and 4, dividing it with the x square term. Here x square term it is 1. So by 1 by 1. 5 by 1 it is 5, and 4 by 1 it is 4. So we got the value of x as 4 and 5. Right? So how we can write? X is equal to 4 and 5. We got two values for x. Similarly, we will get two values for y. That values we have to find out from this equation. So x is equal to 4 and 5. And here y square minus 15y plus 54 is equal to 0. Right? So when we multiply, here also y square term is 1. So we have to concentrate only on this term. Right? So when we multiply two numbers, the answer should be 54. And when we add or subtract those two numbers, you have to get the middle term, that is minus 50. So which are the numbers? Yes, you got it right. It is 9 and 6. Why? Because when we do minus 9 minus 6, it is minus 15. Right? And when we do minus 9 into minus 6, it is plus 54. See, this case is only for multiplication. Okay, remember this is not for addition. this case you should consider only for multiplication, remember. Okay. So in case of addition, when 2 minus comes, the resultant is minus, not plus, because this is addition. Minus 9 minus 6 means minus 9 plus minus 6. That is, we are adding these two numbers, minus 9 and minus 6. So when we add two numbers having negative sign, the answer should be also negative sign, and we have to add those two numbers. 9 plus 6, it is 15, but take the sign, negative sign. When 2 minus comes, it is minus in case of addition. Understood? So this is only for multiplication. Please note that. So which are the numbers? Minus 9 and minus 6. Why? Because when we do minus 9 minus 6, it is minus 50, and when we multiply minus 9 and minus 6, it becomes plus 54, because in multiplication, when 2 minus, it becomes, when 2 minus comes, it becomes plus, and in case of addition, when 2 minus comes, it is minus itself. Now the numbers we got as minus 9 and minus 6. Understood? So minus 9 and minus 6, take opposite signs, plus 9, and here it is plus 6. So the required numbers are plus 6 and plus 9, dividing it with y square term. Y square term, it is 1. So 6 by 1 6, 9 by 1 it is 9. So we got the value of y as 6 and 9, right? Y value is 6 and 9. Now we can compare. We can directly tell the answer. Y is greater because y values are greater than x values. So anyway, we can compare. When we compare 4 and 6, 6 is greater. That is, y is greater. When we compare 4 and 9, y is greater, right? So we compared 4 with y values. Now we can compare 5 with y values. That is, when we compare 5 and 6, 6 is greater. That is, y is greater. When we compare 5 and 9, 9 is greater. That is, y is greater. So in all the 4 cases, y is greater than x or x is less than y. So which option? Option A. Look guys, how simple are these questions? So you can easily score full on full from this topic, that is quadratic equation based inequalities. Now we can go to the fifth one, right? So the equations are x square minus 3x is equal to 10 and y square plus 7y equal to minus 10. So we have to take these two numbers from the RHS to the LHS. How we can arrange the equations? X square minus 3x, on the RHS it is plus 10. So when we take into the LHS, it becomes negative sign, minus 10 equal to 0. And this y square plus 7y, in the RHS it is minus 10. When we take this into the LHS, minus becomes plus. So plus 10 equal to 0. Understood? Here it is plus 10. So into the LHS it becomes minus. And here it is minus 10. So when it comes into the LHS, it becomes plus 10. Understood? So the equations are this one. So now consider these equations. First equation, x square minus 3x minus 10 equal to 0. Here x square term is 1. So have to concentrate only on the constant term, that is minus 10. So when we multiply any two numbers, the answer should be minus 10. And when we add or subtract those two numbers, we have to get the answer as minus 3, this middle term. So which are the numbers? 5 and 2. But how we arrange? In such a way that we have to get minus 10 and minus 3. When we do minus 5 plus 2, we will get minus 3, right? How? Because when we add these two numbers, here it is minus 5. After subtracting, that is, the greatest number possesses negative sign. So you have to subtract. When the greater number possesses negative sign, you have to subtract those two numbers and take the value, take the sign value of the greater number, that is minus. So the answer is minus 3. So take, when it is minus 7 and plus 4, subtract these two numbers because minus is there. 7 minus 4, it is 3, and take the sign of the greatest one. 7, number 7 is greater and its sign is minus. So the answer is minus 3. Understood? Another example, minus 10 and plus 12. Here we have to subtract two numbers. 12 minus 10, it is 2, and you have to take the sign of the greater number. Here greater number is 12 and its sign is plus. So the answer is plus 2. Understood? Another example, minus 3 and 9. Subtract 9 and 3, it is 6, and take the sign of the greatest one, that is 9, it is plus 6. And if it was plus 3 and minus 9, subtract 9 and 3, the answer is 6, and take the sign of the greatest one. Here the sign of the greatest one is minus, so the answer is minus 6. Understood the concept? So here minus 5 plus 2 is minus 3. And when we do minus 5 into plus 2, it is minus 10. That is the constant term, right? So we are considering this equation x square minus 3x minus 10 equal to 0. When we multiply those two numbers, we will get the constant term, and when we add two numbers, we will get the middle term, that is minus 3. Understood? So the numbers we got as plus 2 and minus 5. Taking opposite signs, plus 2 becomes minus 2 and minus 5 becomes plus 5. So the required numbers are 2, minus 2 and 5. Dividing it with x square term. X square term it is 1. So by 1, by 1. Minus 2 by 1 it is minus 2. 5 by 1 it is 5. So we got the values of x as minus 2 and 5, right? Now we can solve for y. Understood? The equation is y square plus 7y plus 10 equal to 0. That means when we multiply two numbers, you have to get 10 as the constant term as the answer, because here it is 1 into 10, it is 10. So you concentrate only on the constant term. So when we multiply two numbers, you have to get the answer as plus 10. When we add or subtract two numbers, you have to get the answer as plus 7. That is the middle term. So which are the numbers? Yes, 5 and 2. Because when we do plus 5 into plus 2, 5 into 2 it is plus 10. When we add these two numbers, 5 plus 2, it is plus 7. See, simple, right? So the numbers are 5 and 2. We got the numbers of 5 and 2 or 2 and 5. Taking the opposite signs, plus 2 becomes minus 2 and plus 5 becomes minus 5. So the required numbers are minus 2 and minus 5. Divide it with y square term. Here y square term is 1. So by 1, by 1. Minus 2 by 1 it is minus 2 and minus 5 by 1 it is minus 5. So we got the value of y as minus 2 and minus 5. Okay. Now we can compare these x and y values. How we can compare? When we compare minus 2 with y values. First minus 2 and minus 2 equal, x is equal to y, right? When we compare minus 2 with the minus 5. Minus 2 and minus 5, which one is greater? Minus 2 is greater. That means x is greater. X is greater than y. Now we can compare 5 with the y values, right? When we compare 5 and minus 2, which one is greater? 5 is greater. That means x is greater than y. When we compare 5 and minus 5, which one is greater? Plus 5 or minus 5? Which one is greater? Plus 5, right? So x is greater than y. So in all these four cases, we got the answer as either x is equal to y or greater than y. That means x is greater than or equal to y is the answer. Which option? Option D. So going to the final question from this section, because I already told you in the last year IBPS RRB office assistant, 6 questions were asked from this topic. Sometimes 5 questions were asking, and in the last year 6 questions were asked, and this is the last one. Shall we discuss? Okay. So the equations are x square plus 14x plus 48 equal to 0 and y square plus 16y plus 63 equal to 0. So taking the first equation, x square plus 14x plus 48 is equal to 0, right? So here x square term is 1, that is constant. So you have to concentrate only on this constant term, right? X square, it is 1 value. So 48, when we multiply two numbers, you have to get the answer as 48, and when we add or subtract two numbers, you have to get the middle term, that is 14 as the answer. So which are the numbers? Yes, it is 8 and 6. Because when we do 8 into 6, we will get 48, that is the constant term. And when we do addition, 8 plus 6, which is equal to 14, and that is nothing but our middle term, right? So these type of questions are very simple, right? In PO, the question level, it is a bit different. It is a bit moderate to difficult level. The questions will not be simple like these numbers, these equations, okay? Here, 8, 6 are 48 and 8 plus 6 it is 14. So which are the numbers? 8 and 6. Take opposite signs. So plus 8 becomes minus 8 and plus 6 becomes minus 6. So which are the numbers? Minus 8 and minus 6. Divide it with x square term. Here x square term is 1. So by 1, by 1. Minus 8 and minus 6, because minus 8 by 1 is minus 8 and minus 6 by 1 it is minus 6. So we got the values of x, right? So what are the values of x? X is equal to minus 6 and minus 8. Now we can solve for y, right? The equation is y square plus 16y plus 63 equal to 0. Here y square term is 1. So you have to concentrate only on the constant term, because 1 into y square, 1 into 63, it is 63, right? So when we multiply any two numbers, you have to get the answer of 63, and when we add or subtract two numbers, you have to get the answer as plus 16, that is the middle term. So which are the numbers? You got it right? Yes, it is 7 and 9, because when you do 7 into 9, it is 63. When you do 7 plus 9, it is 16. So 63 it is the constant term and plus 16 it is the middle term. So you got the numbers as 7 and 9, right? You got the numbers as 7 and 9. Now take the opposite signs. Plus 7 becomes minus 7 and plus 9 becomes minus 9. Dividing it with y square term, but y square term it is 1 by 1 by 1. So you will get minus 7 by 1 it is minus 7 and minus 9 by 1 it is minus 9. So you got the value of y as minus 7 and minus 9, right? Now next step, to compare these values, right? X values and y values. First we can compare minus 6 with y values. When we compare minus 6 and minus 7, which one is greater? Minus 6 is greater, that is x is greater than y. Next, when we compare minus 6 and minus 9, which one is greater? Minus 6, that is x value, that is x is greater than y. Next, you compare minus 8 with y values. When you compare minus 8 and minus 7, which one is greater? Minus 7 is greater, right? That is y is greater. X is less than y, or y is greater than x. When you compare minus 8 and minus 9, which one is greater? Minus 8, that is x is greater. That means when you look at these three values, x is greater than y, but in this case, x is less than y. So what's the answer? In one case, some cases x is greater than y, but in one case x is less than y. That means no relationship can be established. So which option? Option E. That is x is equal to y, or no relation can be established. Understood? So friends, that's all for today's video. We will discuss more questions in the upcoming videos. If you find the channel informative and useful, do support the channel by subscribing and sharing it with your friends who are preparing for competitive exams like bank exams, and press the bell icon to get notification of my latest videos. See you in the next video with another useful content. Till then, have a good day and thank you.